Hey guys, so I need to talk about something that is really, really important. A little bit of maybe an elephant in the room, if you will. So if you have some patience in a few minutes, please don't scroll on. Just a few minutes of your time here. Hear me out. And the timing for this is, I think, really important because this has to do with a lot of the principles that I talk about in my upcoming album, From Change to Charity, about like the 20 plus years I spent fighting and recovering from pornography addiction. And it also has to do with AI. And again, please don't scroll, just hear me out for a few minutes here. It won't take long. I even have like some notes because this is an emotionally charged subject and I need to keep myself focused here. So with the idea of, to start out with, recovering from pornography addiction, in my years of recovery, I spent a lot of time studying like academics, not just, religious and ethical stuff, but academic, like scientific studies on how porn affects the brain. And one of the studies I came upon was this guy named Nicholas Tinbergen. For those of you who don't know, he did this really famous study on butterflies, actually, that talks about what he calls supernormal stimulus, okay? And what he talks about with supernormal stimulus is with this experiment he did with butterflies, where he'd cut out these cardboard cutouts of butterflies and kind of paint them and shape them and size them so that they were just a little more exaggerated than you would ever see happen in real life, in nature, with butterflies. The vibrancy of the colors, the shapes, the sizes of these cutout butterflies out of this cardboard. And the male butterflies, instead of in these cages, instead of going to the females, the supernormal stimulus, they tried to mate with the cardboard, right? It's kind of crazy the way that works. But, with this experiment, this is exactly what porn does to the brain. It tries to convince you of lies, of things that it wants you to expect, or that the producers of porn want you to expect from the natural, normal experience of sex. Things that you would never, ever see in a normal, healthy sexual relationship. And so, that's what it does. It trains the brain to expect things that are, it goes along with what it's called supernormal stimulus. It's not natural. This is exactly what AI does, and I'll explain how. Just hear me out. Rick Beato, who is sort of a legend with music and production, actually related this to eating Twizzlers. It's kind of weird, but he talks about very briefly in one of his videos that he's like, when I'm eating Twizzlers, I know I'm eating junk. I know I'm eating artificial, food dyes and sugars and stuff like that. He's like, if you're going to listen to AI, that's your choice. But no, you're listening to garbage, okay? It's artificial junk food of music, all right? What AI is doing is feeding your brain both supernormal stimulus and neurological junk food, okay? It's garbage. It trains the brain to expect something that will never exist in normal human art. And for those of you who are like, well, it's legal, so why do I need to care what you think or if it's wrong? Okay, here's the next part, and then I'll end it after this. After a quick Google search earlier today, actually, what I found, I'm going to read a bit of it to you, on a quick Google search about a recent lawsuit that's been happening with companies or apps like Suno. It says major music labels, including Sony and Universal, are suing Suno for massive copyright infringement. Suno mass downloaded or stream ripped millions of copyrighted sound recordings without paying for them to train its AI models. Filed in 2024, the lawsuit initially focused on 560 copyrighted songs. In May 2026, this year, UMG and Sony used audio fingerprinting technology to identify over 60,000 of their specific songs in Suno's training database. And because labels are seeking statutory damages, fines specific to each infringement, the potential could cost Suno up to $9 billion. And they've been trying to stop, they've been trying to seek court judges to say, stop them from adding more songs to this lawsuit, which means there are more out there. And I promise you, if anyone who sees this, I'm warning you now, if I ever find out that you use any of my music to train your AI, I will pursue absolute maximum possible prosecution to you in a court of law for stealing my stuff. if I ever find out anybody doing that. I will go after you legally for everything you're worth. I promise. Don't do it. AI music is garbage. It is fake, it is unfair, and it leaves us musicians feeling like we're trying to it's like a wife who's trying to compete with unrealistic porn with her husband in the bedroom. It's not fair. It's wrong. It's immoral. It's illegal. It's unethical. And it's garbage. So please stop using AI music. It's not just illegal, it's morally wrong and ridiculous. Thanks for listening.